Hey everyone, welcome to Legends, Lore, and More, Episode 9. It's been a while since I did an update video, and lots of stuff has changed from whatever I said in that video. So just wanted to give an update, give you some info on an upcoming book, my next Kickstarter, things like that are going on. Um, First, it's already up, but I did a reading of chapter one of my newest book that is coming in October. Um, you can listen to that. It's the video that came up just before this one. And it will be available in audio as well, narrated by Kevin Green. Kevin did the Marked by the Dragon series. So if you liked his reading with that, I think you will like this one as well. Anyways, if you want to hear the first chapter, you can go watch that video. I did a reading of chapter one. Just did chapter one, kind of give you a little taste of what's coming. I'm not going to read the whole book on here, for a couple reasons. One, I don't want to give away the story, before it's published. In and then two, YouTube doesn't like duplicate content. So even though it will be a professional narration that I upload for you to enjoy, if I have the whole book read by me on here, they consider that, the same content, even though, I mean, technically it is, but it's done professionally one way and not professional narrator another way. So I just did chapter one, just kind of give you a little bit of something of the story. Yeah, so it's the first book of a brand new series, called Bound by Blood. That's the series name. First book is Chosen. The second book will be called Acolyte, and the third will be Sworn. So book one is essentially about a character named Kai who was chosen while in the womb to be a dragon rider. So in this world, dragons before they're hatched, um, and people before they're born, form a bond, like while they're in the womb, essentially. Pregnant mothers come before the eggs and they lay their hands on the dragon eggs. And if their child is chosen, they feel a warmth wash over their stomach, and they know that their baby has been chosen to be a dragon rider. And then once the children are born, they kind of live the first 16 to 18 years of their life, kind of like on their own. They can hear their dragon in their head, but they don't get to meet their dragon until the ceremony of oaths, which is when they come of age, to essentially become a warrior. Um, and so Kai is chosen, but she has a, without giving anything away, she has a different experience than most chosen. Some secrets come to light and some stuff happens and chaos breaks out, and it was very fun. But I don't want to spoil it or anything. So yeah, that's coming in October. I've already started working on book two. First chapter as of this recording, first chapter that is done. I do intend to have it complete. It released in November, and then book three will be in December. So as of right now, it should just be a three-book series. But things change as I'm writing sometimes. Like Marked by the Dragon, supposed to be three books, and ended up being five. So there's that. But as of right now, book two is completely. I'm not an outliner or a plotter by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have book two kind of completely laid out, in my mind and with some notes of what I'm gonna do with the story. And so, assuming nothing deviates as I'm writing all of that out, it will be three books. They will be shorter, like all most of my other works. I think book one clocked in just a little bit over 20,000 words, so probably 2 to 4 hours of audio, depending on how fast Kevin reads. Um, and yeah, so it's a struggle for me to write long books, so I lean into what works for me, which is short books. And they do pretty well for me. So I'll just continue to do what works. But I do have the cover. Um, it is, I think I did it, revealed it on a post here. But you can see it on my Facebook page, if you're not on there. I don't have a copy. It's not printed yet or anything. It's got to be formatted. Um, so that's coming, brand new series. And then the Kickstarter for the omnibus edition of the first three books of the Osnan series was a smashing success. The highest funded Kickstarter I've done so far. And volume two, which includes books 4 through 6, that Kickstarter is going to be launching in just a couple weeks, September 3rd. And if you missed the campaign to get the first volume, it will be available during that campaign. Um, and I would like to show you how book one turned out at the end. So silver foil work on the front. The dragon is foiled. These decorative circles here, the swords, the spine work with my name and the 1 through 3 and the title on there. And on the back, there's a quote, heroes are often the least among us, foiled, and then the swords and the circles again. One of the stretch goals that got unlocked was a bookmark ribbon. So it got a red ribbon. Each volume will have a different color. Uh, and then this is probably, I mean, the whole book is just amazing and beautiful, but this printed design on the edge is probably one of my favorite things about this edition. And one of the other things that got unlocked was custom end sheets. So there's a map of the Osnan school there, battle map view, and then this dragon design there. And then in between each book, I included the original artwork of the individual books. So the artwork of book one there, and then of course 2, 3, and so on. And then the end sheets in the back of the book is the Tyranny School. So you've got that Asian look to the buildings and the architecture. It turned out fantastic. And there were two options. There was just this edition, which is amazing. But I also did an option where you could get a gold foil dust jacket that went over top of this. And that is what it looks like here. So gold foil with the title and my name, and the spine, title and name, and 1 through 3, and then the quote on the back, gold foil, and the full cover art there, done by my good friend Nimesh out of Indonesia, or I'm sorry, Sri Lanka. And so there were two options. It was like a 50-50 split. About 50% got the one with the dust jacket, and 50% got the one without the dust jacket. So I know some people are a little finicky. They don't like dust jackets. They take them off when they read the book. And I've even seen some people say they throw them away, which is so weird to me. It's kind of like the benefit of getting a hardcover is dust jacket, but I get it because the design underneath is fantastic. So there's that. So there will be 5 volumes in total, at least for now, because there's 15 books in the series. As it stands, I am done. I have set it up at the end of book 15 to kind of tie into another arc for Eldwin and Marin. But until I kind of come up with enough ideas to kind of flesh out what that next arc looks like, that series is done for now. Ugh, excuse me. I'm tired. It's been a busy week. And then the campaign for the second volume, which is 4 through 6, I have a proof copy of that one. So also silver foiled. This one has a blue bookmark ribbon. Uh, Spine is foiled as well. And the quote on the back of this one, a bond that can't be broken. So very similar design, um, in terms of like this orange design work there, but it's different. So, um, if you look at them side by side, a lot of it is different. So the cloud work is different, the swords are different, the dragons obviously are different, um, and all of that. So very different. The printed edge work is different, and um, and then of course different color bookmark ribbon, um, and the custom end sheets on this one, the Island of Lost Souls, which that turned out amazing. Um, and then the back end sheets is another map, and this is of the Temple of the Bond, where the assembly resides. Um, so fantastic. They've turned out amazing. Um, and so yeah, this one is coming September 3rd. The campaign for this launches, and you can get the first volume if you missed this one. This one will have a dust jacket option also, with the gold foil. The artwork for that, I don't have it yet. The printer I used for the dust jackets, um, the minimum order is 50. I don't want to order anything until I know what I need for the Kickstarter once it's over. So I don't have that, but the artwork for that is fantastic. You can see it on the Kickstarter page. It's actually the background image. And then once the campaign is live, you'll be able to see the dust jacket view of the full artwork spread. Um, it's a scene from book 4, The Coin of Souls, where they're standing on a hilltop and they see the ghost armies fighting down in the valley. It's amazing. Nimesh did all of these, all of the artwork, for all 5 volumes. So they're not all formatted yet. The first 2 are, and then the third one, the fancy design work, the designer's working on that currently. And then um, volume 3 probably not launching until sometime next year. Kickstarter's kept me pretty busy this year, doing, short story anthology. I did a comic book, this special edition, uh, this next special edition. I'm trying to limit myself to 4 campaigns a year, one per quarter, if it works out that way. Um, and then, of course, there will be 3 campaigns um, next year for volume 3, 4, and 5 with the other books of the series. Um, I had considered doing a Kickstarter for the Chosen book, but I don't feel like it's a good use of my time, because I'm not doing anything special. I would just be releasing the book to Kickstarter people before it releases on retail. I'm not going to do that. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just a regular book. And I write shorter, so I don't see any reason to do a Kickstarter for it. Once the series is done, obviously, I'll probably do a fancy hardcover for that. So that'll be a Kickstarter, but that's kind of probably next year sometime. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I worked on. Um, my creativity's back. My health stuff, that's still all under control. I just have been working on other people's books. So, I run a small press, so I do publish books for other people. I don't publish them on this channel like audiobook or anything like that. One, none of them are in audio. And two, it's not me and my books, which is what this channel really is for. Um, but yeah, so those will be, those have been taking up my time. I signed 2 6-book deals with 2 different authors. One of those was some Greek mythology retellings, which I don't read, but I know how to sell books, so I signed Carrie Keberly for 6 books. Book 6, she just turned into me. I've got to get that edited this weekend. I'll be working on that before Dragon Con. Um, that's done. So that won't be as heavily on my plate. And then the other author I signed 6 books for, he's a teacher, so he only writes during the summer, and he has 3 books complete of his 6 book series so far. So, excuse me. Um, so once I'm done with hers, I'm going to write book 2 of my book, and then I'll jump to working on editing his first book. Um, and that is Jerry Harwood. He has a couple titles self-published under his name, and for his this new series he's doing, he wanted a publisher. So I told him to send me the first couple chapters. I'd read over it, and if I thought I could sell it, then I would take it. And it was good. I liked it. So I signed him for 6 books. Uh, with that said, I am not going to be taking on any new authors for the foreseeable future till I can get some more of my own work done. I've got lots of things on my plate, and it's just very difficult juggling my stuff, and then doing work for other authors as a publisher, and just, you know, all the stuff, cover design, formatting, editing, all of that stuff. It's just too much for one person, and I am a one-person show, so I will not be doing any new books from other authors, at least probably for a year, so I can get some of my stuff done, get this new series out and published. And get these Kickstarters for these fancy editions and all of that. So um, that's kind of what's been taking up my time. So sorry. So as you could tell, I put one book out. I did Osnan book 15 in February, which I actually wrote and published. I wrote it in January and then I published in February. The audiobook came out. And it's been several months since you've seen anything new from me, except for the Kickstarter announcement. So um, that's why I've been busy working on other people's stuff. So um, that's thankfully going to be winding down here soon, and then I can just super focused on my own books for a while. And I will get some new stuff out. Everything I write comes out in audio, so obviously that'll come here to YouTube, where you guys can listen for free. And um, what else? I've been doing a lot of events, in-person events this year. Um, and I have already done this year, already done what I did last year for the whole year in sales at conventions and live events. I've already hit that so far this year, and I've still got several events through the rest of this year. So that's exciting. It's good to see growth, especially at conventions I went to last year. Did the same ones this year to see such growth from the same conventions. Um, Gen Con was a couple weeks ago, um, and that is officially my best event in terms of books sold, dollars made, profit margin, all of that across the board. Last year, it was at the time it was my best event. In April of this year, I did an event in Huntsville. That took the crown as like the top event. Um, and then Gen Con a couple weeks ago, I did it again this year, and I did slightly more than double what I did last year at Gen Con. So, tremendously higher in sales. I don't like talk about numbers on here with, readers or anything. Not for any reason. I'm not hiding them. Um, I just figure you guys don't care about that stuff because it's more like business, author business stuff. Um, but I just wanted to share how well Gen Con went. I did $2,655 in sales, which is phenomenal. And like I said, last year, at the time, it was my best event at 1,200. This year I did slightly more than double, and it was wild. Excuse me, wild. How much more I did, and I did have some of the special editions there, but that was really a small percentage of my sales when you look at the full number that I did. So that's good. It was like just my regular books that were selling. So it was fantastic, fantastic show. Profit margin off that was great. I try to keep my expenses low for events, especially when I have to travel out of state or even, locally, but travel far enough that it's not, it doesn't make sense to commute back and forth multiple days. Um, so that's exciting. And then this is the first year that I've applied to Dragon Con as a guest that I got accepted. So I'm an attending professional as an author. I'm on 4 panels. Um, all of that info can be found on my website. Um, it's richardfierce.com if you don't know. But I'll kind of give you the panel information. So um, I will be doing 4 panels, and then I'll also be signing books at a vendor booth in the vendor hall at the America Smart. So um, Friday, I will be at the vendor booth from noon to 5, signing books. My books will be on sale even when I'm not in the booth, but I will be in the booth signing at these specific times. So Friday, I'll be in the booth from 12 to 5. Saturday, I will be in the booth from 12 to 4. Sunday, 2 to 4, and then 6 to 7, and then Monday, 11 to 3. Um, you can, of course, go get books for me if you're there and you want to, pick up some print books. You can get those at any time that the vendor hall is open. If you want me to sign them, you'll have to come during those windows of time when I'm at the booth to sign them. Um, the vendor booth I will be at is the Side Street Book Market. Um, and it is in the America Smart building. I think it's the 3rd floor, and I believe, let me look real quick to make sure I give the correct information in terms of the booth number. Let's see, I do not have it in this email. Maybe another email has it. Let's see. I can't find it, so I'm not going to waste time doing that. But it's you can look at the vendor map and it'll tell you the booth number. Um, and there is an app for Dragon Con, so you can download the app. It's free. And then of course you can search for anything you need if you're looking for panels, whatever. You can put my name in there, it'll pull it up. Um, oh, there it is. Booth 3201, Side Street Book Market 3201. So yeah, that's next weekend. That is the August 29th or 30th, I'm sorry, Friday the 30th, through Labor Day, which is September 2nd. So all 4 days I will be there. And yeah, if you're attending, come by, say hey. Whether you buy books or not, come by and say hey. I love to meet fans in the wild. So um pretty cool news is that 2 of the panels I'm on are with Todd McCaffrey, which is the son of Anne McCaffrey, who is, of course, the Queen of Dragons and Dragon Riders. So that is awesome. And then 2 other panels I'm doing with some pretty prominent indie authors. Katie Cross is one. Berta Plattis is another. I love Berta. I've met her in person several times. She's so cool. Liz Delton will be on one of the panels I'm on as well. And so yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. And then uh on Friday night, there's an event called Fantasy Gather. And it is from about 7 p.m. to midnight. And it's where fantasy authors will be and we'll be able to sell our books. It's very informal. It's not like a vendor hall at all. It's in a ballroom, and we just have little circular tables. There'll be three or four of us at a table together, and we'll have some books just laying on the table, nothing fancy, anything like that. And anyone with a Dragon Con badge is free to come in and buy books and hang out with the authors, meet people, chat, hang out. So if you are coming and you can't meet me at the booth during my signing times, you can do the Fantasy Gather. Um, and so yeah, there's that. The panels Saturday at 5:30 in the Embassy Hyatt. I'll be on a panel. We talking about the adventure begins. Um, New writers always ask, where do you get your ideas, or how do I start writing a book or story? The years of experience racked up on our panel will answer these questions and more. So if you're interested in writing, how does a story start out? Where do you get your ideas? Things like that. You can come check that out. Also on Saturday at 8:30, The Rise of Romantasy in YA. So romance and fantasy have been around forever, so let's smash them together and get something new. Um, and then Sunday at 10 a.m., Dragons of Pern, compare and contrast with other dragons. So obviously I write dragons. It's perfect panel for me. And I'm on the panel with several people who write dragons on there, including Todd McCaffrey and KN Lee. So it'd be awesome to meet all of these authors in the flesh. And then Sunday at 1 p.m., writing YA novels that readers will love. YA or young adult is growing by leaps and bounds. A variety of genres, diversity, and complexity of these books changes rapidly. Keep up with what the kids are reading and what they really want to read. So those are my panels. You can find that again on the DragonCon app or on my website. And you can, on my website, you'll click the appearances tab or link at the top. That'll pull up all the events I'm at. So if you can't make it to DragonCon, but you live in some of these other places I'm going to, I'll be in Birmingham in September. I'll be in North Carolina in October, Tennessee in October, and then a lot of local stuff. Next year, I've already got some stuff booked for next year. Two in Tennessee, one in Alabama, three in Tennessee, sorry, one in Alabama, one here in Georgia. So yeah, I've got an updated list of events I'm attending, times, all that information on the website. So you can always look there and see that information. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much most what I've been, working on. Other people's books, writing a new one of my own, Kickstarter stuff. So yeah, you can look forward to that brand new book, like I said, in October. If everything goes according to plan, which it's flowing pretty well right now, then book two will be November, book three will be December. So um assuming I can get them done and Kevin has availability to do them as I finish them. Then they will be October, November, December. Um, the ebooks definitely, audio ideally. If not, then it'll be, a little bit later than that. But so yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've got that's new. Excuse me. It's a little late. I'm tired. So, um, and then I've just recently kind of redesigned the office space a little bit. Got a new shelf. My wife found this awesome dragon canvas up here that's hanging on the wall. Um, and then I've got some books on the shelf and things. Um, so yeah, I am currently reading The Last Shadow Knight by Michael Webb. I met Michael in Vegas 2 years ago. Well, almost 3 years ago at this point, at a writers conference in Las Vegas, and found out that we just lived 20 minutes from each other. It's crazy how small the writers world is. And so we've done a convention together, we've done lunch, we keep in touch and just kind of share info and things like that, authors type stuff. And so anyways, I'm reading his book, uh, which was the first book that he had published. And he's sold, I think, over 200,000 books um since he published of that series. And so yeah, I'm reading through that. It's pretty good. I like it. So if you're looking for a new read and you haven't read it, check it out. And then I don't normally read two books at once, but um I these are different enough that they don't like a I don't like confusing stories in my head when I'm jumping from one book to another. But these are so different flavors of fantasy that I'm not having that problem. So I'm reading that, and then I'm reading uh I read Night of the Black Dragon by Melanie Ansley. Um and it's a short story prequel that leads into her main series. So I read that over the weekend, and then I'm started reading book one, which is Dragon Class, Dragon Rider Fantasy. But hers is it's historical fantasy, so it is set in like real China, back in feudal period. But um, it is a fantasy because there's dragons, and there's dragon riders. That's what they're called, the dragon class or dragon riders essentially. And there's basically a heist that this main character is going to be part of. I haven't got that far. I just started book one, but the lead up of the short story is that there's this heist that they're about to do. They're going to steal something from the empire itself, the emperor's sending some valuable thing. Um, Based off the short story and kind of reading into the blurb of book one. I'm pretty sure it's a dragon. They're transporting a dragon, and they're going to steal a dragon. And then my assumption is the main character will become a dragon rider um, through that whole heist situation. I could be wrong, so but that's how I think the story goes. But I'm reading it, so but yeah, so the short story was great. I loved it. And that's why I wanted to jump into book one, even though I was already reading a book. Um, so I'm reading two books at once. Um, so yeah, reading, writing, and just doing a lot of in-person events and stuff like that. So those are my updates. And if you made it this far, awesome. Thank you for listening. I know I can ramble on these update videos, but there's a lot of stuff to kind of talk about. I get going on one thing and it reminds me of something else or whatever. So yeah, that's all I've got for this one. Um, look forward to Chosen in October, and um and then the rest, coming after that. But um, hope you're excited for new books. I'm excited to be putting out some new books. Glad to be writing and working on my own books versus, editing for other authors and getting their stuff published. So yeah, but one final thing, if you do like stuff other than traditional fantasy, like what I write, some of the authors that I've published have different genres they write. So one has urban fantasy, so A.G. Porter. If you look up A.G. Porter on Amazon, she has a duology. It is a urban fantasy about a witch, or witches, I guess, but the main character is a witch. It is called The Sacrifice of Ava Black, and the second one is The Second Death of Ava Black. Um, those are in ebook only. We're talking about audio, but as of right now, the ebooks aren't really moving a ton to justify the investment of audio. So we'll see. If they do, they will not be put on this channel. They'll be put on my publishing company channel. Um, but as of right now, there's no plans for that. And then she also writes under a different name for romance. It's Amanda Guerrero Dash Porter. She has a standalone romance book. Um, And then if you like Greek mythology, Carrie Keberly has 6 books. Each one is technically a standalone. It's about it's one story. So like the first one is about um um eh, uh I keep getting the Greek and Roman names mixed up. But basically Cupid, um the correct name, Ares, I think. Um I edited that one months ago, so it's kind of like out of my brain at this point. But anyways, each one is its own standalone retelling. But they're kind of like in series. So like the first three, the series overarching is called Fated and Cursed. So the first three are fated like love stories, basically like people were fated to be together. Like Hades and Persephone, and then the other three are cursed or tragedy tales like Echo. Um, and yeah, and there's two others. I'm about to edit the sixth book. So yeah. But anyways, if you like Greek mythology, those are out there. Just search Carrie Keberly, Kerri, Kebberly. And then if you like a crime thriller, I published a debut book for an author who is in her 70s. She wrote this book on a kind of not a dare, but like her granddaughter was like, "You should write a book," and so she was like, "Okay, I will." And she wrote a crime thriller. It's got a very cool twist in the story. I don't read crime thrillers, but it was good. I liked it. Um, and so that's out. It's called Another Precious Minute, by J.D. I think it's pronounced Guice. It's Guice. Um, and so yeah, you can check those out and support those authors if you're interested in those genres. Otherwise, I'm strictly fantasy myself, other than my small space opera series I did. Um, so yeah, that's it. So I will cut this short, not ramble on anymore, and if you decide to back the Kickstarter, I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Either way, if you listen here on YouTube, I make a little bit of money off these videos from the ads that play. So thank you for listening and reading my stories. I appreciate it. And hope you are enjoying all the stuff that I've put on here so far. Until next time, uh, we'll see you then.